I'll just upload it to my channel later with your permission.
Okay.
But it says I'm live right now on my channel, so
Well, let me go take a look at it myself, so that way we'll know.
okay.
This is why I keep my phone on me so I
Okay,
can know what's
cool. All
going
right.
on.
I see I'm live on my channel, but the thing is, like I say, I'm just concerned about if we're gonna get any feedback, but don't sound like I'm getting any right now, so it look like we may be all good. I'm live right now on my channel, so
Oh, listening from your channel sounds good.
all right,
So,
cool. Appreciate it.
yeah. So we want to analyze the neighbor's behavior to ascertain whether or not this
Hold
individual
on,
is being
let me do an introduction. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Chris Thorns Show. As always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you watch my content. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all know me. I'm always the one trying to get the collabs and the interview. All right, and a lot of times I'm successful, a lot of times I'm not. But man, nobody ever reached out to Chris Thorne and said he want to talk to him. This is an honor. So I'm live right now with this lovely lady y'all see on my screen by the name of Isis. All right. So Isis reached out and want to talk to me, and she want to talk to me about we're gonna what we're gonna talk about, Isis. We're gonna talk about the interview I did with James, right?
We're talking about James Smith, Tatiana's
Okay,
neighbor.
yeah, she's we're gonna talk about Tatiana's neighbor, and I guess she got questions about the interview, and I guess she's gonna give my perspective of the whole situation. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is my first interview with somebody interviewing me. So, hey, let's show her love like y'all show me love. All right, appreciate you. Well, go ahead, dear. Thank you so much for reaching out to me. It's an honor that you want to talk to me. Anybody want to talk to me? So, go ahead. Appreciate
Thank you, brother. So, as I was saying,
you.
at this point in at this point in this journey that is Tatiana Jefferson and this tragic thing that happened to her, we want to bring healing where we can. I think that's where we're at with this situation, and so we don't want to be mad at the neighbor if we don't necessarily need to be mad at the neighbor. But there was some confusion as to whether the neighbor was being authentic and whether the things he said could be trusted, and why didn't he go knock at the neighbor's door, and does he really feel bad. And so for that reason, I reached out to Chris Thorne, because this is someone who sat down with the neighbor. Although I live in Texas, not far from where the neighbor lives, I didn't want to go to that individual's home and interview them again when an interview has already been done. And I like the way that Chris did his interview. So I just wanted to go ahead and reach out to him and have him come on the channel and tell his perspective. Chris, before we get started, really quickly, for those that don't know you, aren't used to your content, tell me about your channel and how you came to do the interview with James Smith.
No problem. Well, my channel is it actually varies topics, but my main stitch is advocating for children. A lot of these stories about these children don't get out for some reason, and I want to be one of the voices that get these stories out. A lot of people, who do celebrity news. I don't really touch celebrity news because celebrities get enough attention already. And it's easy for me to get views off celebrity news. So I want to be one of the people who touch on stories that don't get out like it should be getting out. So that's really my stitch. But it's I do a wide range of topics on the platform. Um, Now, how I got the interview with Mr. James? Well, believe it or not, one of my followers is related to him. And once he told me he was related to him, I asked him, hey, can you get me to talk to him? And he said he'll try. Now, don't get it twisted. Now, he was hesitant at first because this event is still fresh. So he's hesitant at first, and I get that. But he finally decided, I guess he took a look at the stream that I did about him when he said he was devastated about what happened. I guess he just went ahead and chose to do it. So I was greatly humbled that he chose to do it. But of course, by it being an ongoing investigation, there's only so much he could talk about. You understand? So that's how we got there.
Well, and I think that he answered a lot of the questions. If you don't mind, I think what we're going to do is play a couple minutes of the interview for those that haven't seen it.
Go ahead.
Okay. Bear with me, family. We're going to go ahead and
And
pull
I'm
this
finna
up.
find your channel. I'm finna find your channel. Just give you a hello in your chat. Let me find your channel. And ladies and gentlemen, on my side, I am live with at the real ISIS. Um, Isis had reached out to me. She wants to interview me about the interview I did with Mr. James, the neighbor of Tatiana Jefferson. And again, I want y'all to know I am very honored that she reached out to me and even want to talk to me. This is the first time anybody want to interview me. So, hey, this is going to be a good day for me. But go ahead, dear. Go ahead. Play it.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and just momentarily put you on mute while we pull this up.
No doubt. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, I'm gonna go on record and say I did go over there.
Oh, you did go over there. Okay.
I did go over there.
Okay.
And I chose for my own safety to go get a professional to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I didn't have a gun. It was two in the morning. She had, I didn't know she had a weapon, but she had a weapon. So just imagine starving somebody at 2 in the morning. So I relied on my police department.
Let me ask you, Mr. James. Did you have a phone number?
I have the young man's phone number, but his phone wasn't working.
Oh, okay. Because one of my questions was, when I did my streams, I said, a question I have is, if you did have her number, why didn't you call her instead of, just going straight to call the police? But guys, y'all just heard him. He said he had somebody's number, but the person number we have, the number was not working. So that's why he couldn't get in contact with her directly. So, okay. So for what we heard here right now, you say you did go there yourself, but what happened when you went over there yourself? What did you see?
I saw both front doors open.
And you said that was unusual for you to see that, right?
Very unusual.
Okay. Okay. And so you went over there, and once you saw that, like you just said from minutes ago, you said, "Nah, let me call somebody out here and see what was going on." Right?
Yeah. Right.
Okay. See there, right there. I don't knock you for that either, because I remember somebody saying in my chat room one time, they said, he could have went or knocked on the door. I said, no, actually, he did the right thing by not doing it, because what if somebody was in that house? He could have been a victim as well. If somebody.
All right, family. So that was just, a snippet of the interview that Chris Thorns did. And there were some bombshells in that interview. The first bombshell was that he actually went over there. And then the second bombshell was that he actually had contact information, apparently, for somebody that wasn't, he apparently had contact information for someone that lived in that home, but the contact information was not working. So, Chris, let's start from the beginning. How did you feel about his demeanor? I know that when it comes to interviewing, sometimes when you have someone on the show that's nervous, you kind of have to be, more complimentary than you normally would, just in order to get them to loosen up and get them to talk. I do think that came across, but let us know, how did you feel about the demeanor?
Well, I think he probably was a little nervous, and he probably really didn't want to do it because he got a lot of people that's coming at him already, news media and whatever. I'm pretty sure he talked to a whole lot of people. So the fact that you got somebody like me that's on YouTube on a public platform trying to talk to him, that probably ain't making it no better, because as we see in the videos and interviews that he done, he's very devastated by this situation, and the events that occurred. Now, here's my thing, and I want everybody to understand. If that had been me, like I told him, I would have felt the same way, because it's one of the situations is woulda, shoulda, coulda. What if I didn't do this? What if I did this? What if? you know, and the fact that he made the call and this happened, I mean, it will weigh heavy on my conscience as well. But I'm glad he cleared it up where he said that he actually went over there, because that was one of my questions. Did you have a number, or did you even shout the name out, or do something before you called the 911? But he cleared it up and said that he did. So he did try to take some kind of action. So
yeah, that was interesting because he said he went over there, and that's when he noticed that the doors were open. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering what caused him to go over there in the first place. And then, one thing that was interesting to me was he said that it was unusual for those doors to be open, but it's Texas, in an area where a lot of people in that area can't afford AC. And a lot of people in that area have their doors open, have their screen doors open. Even when I went to ATATIANA's home, which I spent hours out there on 2 different occasions. So even when I went out there, there were people that had their doors open and the screen door closed. So I was interested in that, for someone to say, well, it's not usually open.
Well, from my understanding, this is a neighbor that stayed across the street from her, and and he's one of them neighbors that kind of like sit on the porch a lot. So I guess he kind of knows the ins and outs of the neighborhood. And let's not forget, the man said he's been staying in that neighborhood for 50 years. So you've been staying there for 50 years. Yeah, you pretty much know the in and out of the neighborhood. So it probably was kind of odd to him to see the door open, and then at the time that it was, So the thing with this is, you can only speculate, and I can only go by the words that he gave me because I wasn't there. But at the same time, like I told him and I told the audience, he did what most people would have done. They probably would have seen it, be like, oh, there's no big deal, and something could have been going on over there, So he went over there, and I guess he did what he did. And I guess once he didn't get no answer, however the case may have been, that's when he said, hey, I want to get a professional out here to check things out and make sure everything is okay. So according to him, what he told me, so we're going to go by what he told me in the interview. But let's not forget, he can only tell me so much. He can't tell me every single thing because it's an ongoing investigation.
Yeah. So I guess there's a lot of people that are split on this, because I know for me, myself, I never even knew that there were a lot of Black people out there that would call the police if they were concerned, because I'm not scared of Black people at all. You could be butt naked holding a gun in your hand and I'll walk straight up to you. Now, if you white, I'm ducking under cars, I'm doing all sorts of things. But if you're Black, I'll walk straight up to you. I just wouldn't assume that another Black person would shoot me, and I have confidence in my ability to, conversate with one another. So it's interesting to me to understand that somebody would call the police, but that is how some people live. That is how some people operate. Better safe than sorry type mentality, where it's like, hey, I don't know what's going on. Mm-hmm. And especially if you have in your mind that this is a couple because he said that there was a man, and he kind of described him, the way he described him seemed like it was an older man. So it could have been somebody that she was with. I'm sure he's in the neighborhood. If she's dating someone, he knows who it is. Mm-hmm. And in the South, you will get killed if someone thinks that you're, pushing up on their woman.
Yes, absolutely. Because I stay in Tennessee. And I don't think Tennessee too far from Texas. I think flying in, we're like 3 hours away. I don't know how far we are driving, but I'm in Tennessee. So, yes, you're exactly right. I'm with you 100% on that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, same with the South. So you felt like he was being authentic. I'm just wanting your personal opinion. Did you feel like he was being authentic?
Now, you asked me he being authentic, in what way are you meaning? I mean,
did you think that he was telling the truth in his responses?
I believe he was. I mean, that I don't see no reason why he would have to lie about what happened, or if that was the case, then, I mean, why come on to the show if you're going to lie about it? Mm-hmm. That's how I look at it, For what he told me, the little that he did to me, I don't see no reason for him to lie about that.
Right. Because it's pretty straightforward.
Right. He was pretty straightforward. He didn't stutter. He didn't change nothing what he said. So I believe he's pretty much straightforward.
So, I feel that, his intentions may have been good. I do feel that his intentions were likely good. I do feel like it's unfortunate that we don't have a relationship with one another as Black people where we feel comfortable going to each other's homes, regardless of what time in the morning it is, and checking and making sure that everything's all right. I feel like that's the real tragedy out of this story, outside of ATATIANA Jefferson, is the fact that we don't trust each other. We don't have enough security when it comes to one another to believe that we could go and knock on somebody's door at 2:00 in the morning or poke our head in the door to see that everything's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the door is open, but the screen door is closed, technically you could go up to the door and look in.
Oh, was you asking me or you telling me? I'm sorry.
No,
what
I'm just stating. Sorry, I'm reading a comment.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, the thing is, and maybe this is one of the questions I should have asked him, but I didn't think about to ask him, how close was he to the neighbor? I didn't think about to ask him that, how close he was to the family. Or is another question is, does it even matter how close he was to them?
Well, for me, it's not a matter of closeness. Like I said, I'm not scared of Mimi. You got me dying in these comments. Stop it. But for me, I don't think it's a matter of closeness, because I'm just the type of person, but I know that my behavior, my viewpoints aren't normal. But I'm the type of person that I'll just go up to somebody and talk to them. I'll give you an example. The other day I was in the hood, and I do mean the hood,
Mm-hmm.
right? We was at the gas station, and there was a car there. They were obviously selling drugs, and they pulled up a little too close. I couldn't get out of my car. Now, most people would be scared. They'd be nervous. I rolled down my window. I tapped on their window. They up in there smoking. They selling drugs. They got the gun on their lap probably, and I'm just like, hey, brothers, can y'all pull out and come back in? They're like, oh yeah, no problem. And also I refer to my people as brother and sister. I refer to older people as crazy as it sounds. If I see an older Black woman, I refer to her as mom or ma or mother. Or if I see an older Black man, I refer to him, hey, dad or father or whatever, or elder. And when you refer to people like that, it reminds them of their role in our community. Because even though you may not be my father, even though you may not be my mother, that's your role in the community. You're an elder. You're someone who looks out for youth,
Gotcha.
And the same thing with my brothers. When I see them, hey, brother, and it reminds them that, hey, you're my brother. That's your role in this community, is to look out for me as your sister, and I'm going to look out for you as your brother. So it's just the way that I operate, that I would never think to call the police. But also, I have a situation that's different from a lot of people, because I got two brothers that are 6'8". Okay, so I basically could call in the SWAT team at any time,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's just an interesting situation, because you do have a lot of Black people that would never call the police.
Absolutely.
Ever. Under any I can't think of a circumstance really that I would, other than not to say that I never have, but I don't even remember what it was about, probably. You know what I'm saying? So it's just an interesting situation.
You sound like me. I very rarely call 911 where really, because I don't really have no reason to, unless my life is in jeopardy. So I probably can count on my hands how many times I called 911 out of my whole lifetime. And that was 2 times because something had happened to me. I lost my train of thought. Okay, I got it back. I don't know if you heard the whole interview, but one part I said in the interview was, just think about if you didn't call the police and something did happen to her. And I've seen a couple of people in your chat room is calling him a coon, I guess, for doing this or whatnot. You know what I mean? However you feel, you feel. But what if he did see this and didn't call the police and this baby lost her life still? I mean, how would you look at that? How would you look at it like that? Would y'all say he did the right thing by not calling, or would people start saying that he should have called? Because I'm getting confused by that, because he called because he concerned. But what if he didn't call and we had the same outcome?
So what you have to realize is that you are on you're on a conscious Black YouTuber's channel, and I'm referred to as militant, whatever that means.
Gotcha.
But you're on the channel where everybody that you see in the comments is talking about he's a coon and all this. We don't call the police over here,
Okay.
So that's just our perspective. And it's nothing to be upset about. We don't judge one another. It's just we have a different way of doing things. We aren't calling the police over in these streets. We just aren't doing it. We believe in policing ourselves. There are actually, and I don't know if you're aware of this, but there are several organizations that are springing up in the South where, when I was actually at City Hall to address ATATIANA Jefferson at the Fort Worth City Hall, there were people handing out cards saying, "Don't call the police, call us first." And it's, a grassroots militia.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that that's where we're headed. We're already there. That would be a viable option for me. If it was the middle of the night and I was concerned about something, I'd pick up the phone. Even if it was just to hear my brother's voice and say, "Hey, what do you think I should do in this situation?"
Got you. I got you. Okay. I just want to know, your perspective on that. What if he didn't call the police and we had the same outcome? But you explained what side of town I'm on, so I get what you're saying. I got you.
For me, let's say I get up there, I knock on the door, and I see some things that are above my pay grade. Okay, I see some big guns. I see people being held up. I see multiple gunmen and things like that. Okay, then I'm like, let me go call the police or whoever I can call, because this is above my pay grade. Right? This is clearly above my pay grade. But I'm just the type of person I would have went and knocked on the door first.
And a lot of people agree with you. Matter of fact, I was just talking to somebody recently about that, and they brought up that too. They said something about him knocking on the door. And I told them, that's the question a lot of people ask, why he didn't just go knock on the door. Even I asked that, and I asked, did he have the number? But you heard what his answer was. So a lot of people's asking that question, why you didn't go knock on the door. But my thing is,
I thought that was a great question too.
But now
I want to back up to that number.
But now here's my thing. What I told him. At the same time, I can kind of understand why he probably didn't walk up there, because again, what if somebody was in the house doing some shit and he could have been the next victim if it was a murder was somebody in the house? He could have been the next victim. As soon as he knocked on the door, whoever was in the house could have came and got him and killed him as well. So we have to look at that too. Well, I'm the type of guy, I don't know about you or anybody else, but I'm the type of guy, I think inside the box, I think outside the box too, I mean, in it, because we live in a society now that anything can happen, so I think inside the box and outside the box. So, that's my thought process on that as well. Just what if he did go over there and somebody was over there doing some stuff, Well, go ahead.
I thought that was a good question. And Betty brought up the fact that these are such important conversations to have, and I agree with that too.
I agree.
I just would never think to ask, and you did such a good job in that. It didn't occur to me that he could even possibly have someone's number, right? And so
Oh, you
that
got
kind of
think. You
made
got
me check.
think.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of made me check myself in the sense, and the reason why is because I guard my number like it's Fort Knox. Like it's Fort
Hey,
Knox. Like you can have my email, you can have my YouTube, you can have my Twitter, you can catch me on Instagram, but
hey, I feel you.
I do guard my private, my number like it's Fort Knox. I just don't give it out much,
I,
and so that kind of made me think about, wow, it's not enough to just know my black neighbors. Cause see, I make a habit. Hey sis, where you going? Okay, you over here. You need anything? Come holler at me. I need anything? I'm gonna come holler at you. But that's not enough. We actually need to make sure at this point that we're exchanging contact information. So if there is a knock on the door, you can say, you can text somebody, hey, is that you outside trying to get in? You
Absolutely,
know?
absolutely, absolutely. That's why they call them smartphones now, because they can do damn near anything now. So hey sis, I totally agree with you on that. Totally agree. Totally agree.
Mhm. There's some people who are kind of mentioning that there could be something more to this story as far as him being in a relationship with her. That's speculative, and I'm not even comfortable going there at this point
Thank
because
you. Well, you took the word right out of my mouth. I don't even know why this even coming up. Because
Tatiana Jefferson is no longer with us, so I'm not even
yeah.
comfortable
So why we even going there?
down that road.
Yeah.
But I
Why
do
we
want to
even going there?
mention, like, there are some people who think that this could have been like possibly a neighbor harassment scenario or something like that. I have personally experienced that where for some reason I had a maintenance man that would just stalk me, and if I had company, it was kind of a weird situation like that where maybe this is somebody being nosy. So I'm curious as to what brought him to her house in the first place, because then that deads that. But if it's just, I'm creeping around in the middle of the night being nosy, then that to me, but there's parts of the story that we may never know the whole truth in.
Mm-hmm. That's how
And
it
he
always
may be
is.
doing that to protect the Tatiana Jefferson. We can't jump to the assumption that it's something negative, but I just think
Mm-hmm.
that there are parts of the story that we may never fully know.
Well, again, friend, like I told you, we have to keep in mind that he can only tell so much. I'm pretty much sure if he can tell the whole story, then people probably can hear a little more and be like, okay, this don't sound right. This sound okay, but this don't sound right. But considering he was only limited to tell me so much, you know, um, it's kind of hard to make these speculations. That I mean, well, we have speculation. I would say allegations, but ain't nobody really just accusing him of nothing. But making the speculations that we're making because I only just got a little bit of what happened. He can't just blow it up and tell me a whole lot of stuff. So, and I want people to understand this too. I didn't bring him on here to grill him and try to say you lying about this, you lying about that, you lying about this, you lying about that. I really brought him on because I want him to get the story out, and I want to keep this baby's story alive and bring
Oh yeah,
awareness.
it's an interview. So I mean, you
Yeah,
brought him on to get the information, and there's
right.
nothing wrong with that. To get more information, and I'm proud of what you did, because I do think that you were able to get information that's not shared in the media. I mean, it's just simply not
That
shared
too.
in
That's
the
the reason why I brought him
media.
on too. That too. That too.
Yeah, it simply has not been shared in the media. That he took more than one step in order to ascertain what was going on in that home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's another reason too. To bring more of the story that he could bring out, but he did brought a little slightly more. But again, I guess we just have to wait till all this spill over, or we have to wait till what the media brings out, or what they choose to bring out more about this story. And if he wants to come back on and give me more of the story, he more than welcome to. So uh, that's all I can really just say right there. I only go by what he said when he came on the show. That's the only thing I can go by.
Yeah, I think that might be interesting, even if it's a year down the road or 2 years down the road. If there is more of the story that he can give, and it can put him in a better life and make his life easier, because there are many people that are upset with him in the state of Texas. So the more information he can get out, And if it makes the story make more sense, and it makes it, I mean, the story makes sense to me anyway. I guess the part that doesn't make sense to me is, how you end up outside her house in the wee hours of the morning. But I've also been to that neighborhood, and I've been to that neighborhood at night, and it is a neighborhood where people stay up late. That's all I'm gonna say on that one. So I think there's more at play here, and it's one of those things where you can have one detail, and it makes the narrative all make sense. You be missing that one detail, and it makes the narrative be like, wait a minute, I don't know what's going on here. And so ultimately, though, I think this is something that is good to analyze, because, like I said, where we're at with the Tatiana Jefferson, she's no longer with us. She's been brutally murdered. Her nephew has witnessed. A lot of our demands have been met, but we're going to be, the family is going to be suing DPD. There's going to be a major lawsuit. There's going to be all of these other things that are going to be in play. And so where we can bring healing to this story, that we should, bring healing.
Facts. Yeah, I really do feel they should do whatever they can to fight this situation, because that policeman didn't follow protocol at all, and it damn near almost looked like he was looking to kill somebody, and because I don't know how you can say put your hands in the air and all of a sudden you shoot just that damn fast, so yeah, they fight for this baby, and they need to get everything, what they deserve to get from this. But most of all, bring awareness that you do have itchy trigger finger cops out there who's cowards, and they do this fuck shit, So, yeah, I'm on the family side 100% with this, and I hope they get the justice they deserve to get.
Mm-hmm. Now, Lee Merritt mentioned, and S. Lee Merritt is Tatiana's family's lawyer, except for the father and his side. But he mentioned that he feels that there's a climate of police brutality, and that we need to train these cops to not be so trigger happy. Yet we've seen that Amber Geiger had thousands of hours of training, specifically.
I know, right? I know.
I'm sorry?
No, I'm saying I know, right? Because yes, I don't know how Amber did what she did and had all that experience and still fucked.
She had all of that training time, and she specifically had de-escalation training. So I'm wondering what your opinion is on that. Do you feel like the answer to this situation is more police training, or is there something else that needs to happen?
That's a tough one, sis. That's really a tough one, because what more training? If you've been on the force for so many years, like Geiger had, what more training do you need? I'm pretty much sure with how long she's been on the force, you've been through extensive training. You know the protocol. You know the ins and outs. So to say more training, I seriously doubt that's going to help anything. Because what can you learn from your training now that you didn't learn when you got on the force? I mean, that's how I look at it. So to say more training, I don't know if I necessarily just 100% agree with that.
Absolutely. Well, brother, I do thank you so much for coming out and being part of the show. I wanted to analyze the situation. I wish we were walking away with a clear cut. No, he's not in the wrong, and we could just, there's no parts of his story that are wrong, and we could just, envelope him within the community in love and forgiveness, and just move forward. But it's just not a black and white story that we can wrap up that neatly in an hour. But I do think that having this information, having this dialogue is very, very important. And I think that we, if there's new information that he is willing to come forward with, be it a year from now, be it 2 years from now, then we owe him the opportunity, as people that are talking about him, to share that information and give that update if it changes the perspective.
I feel
Absolutely.
you on that. Well, with a situation like this, dear, everybody's gonna have different opinions and views, and that's why me and you do what we do on this platform, for different opinions and views, and what me and you doing right now. Um, you may feel one way, and I feel something totally different, and that's just the way it is. Sometimes, a lot of times, you have to agree to disagree. But sound like what we did today, we kind of somewhat on the same page, but I guess you still got questions that you won't answer, and I guess that's understandable with a person like me. I'm like, what more could he have done? Or again, one of my main questions I want to ask the people of the world, what if he didn't call the police then and you had the same outcome? How would a lot of people look at that then? Would y'all still say he did the right thing by not calling? Or would people starting to say that he should have called the police? And, I just leave it up in the air like that.
Absolutely. Well,
Mm-hmm.
we do thank you for coming on, brother. Is there anything you'd like to add before we close it out? I'm
I'm
gonna
good.
read some comments after but then I'm gonna close it out.
Hey, I'm good, sis. I really appreciate this. And like I said, it's the first time anybody reached out to me and want to talk to me. So, hey, I'm grateful for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. No doubt.
All right. Thank you so much for stopping by this morning, brother.
No problem. You have a good day.
You as well.
All right.
All right, fam.
All right, guys. So, what's that y'all heard? I was being interviewed by at the Red ISIS. Um, I don't know if anybody went over there and checked out the comment section, and some of the things that like she brought up a couple of things that somebody was saying in the comment section, but I'm seeing people saying that the man was stalking a woman and this, that, and the third, and I don't know where we getting that from, why would he be stalking the girl, I mean, for what reason would he have to stalk this girl, you know? And it seems like to me, some of the people in her chat room, I guess they don't believe in good citizens anymore or good neighbors. I don't know. I mean, I don't know who they are. Just on these new people that I'm seeing because they on her channel speaking or whatnot. But she did say, hey, her side is the countryside, so we know how a lot of them think or whatnot. So, and everybody have they freedom to think how they want to think. But I do think that it's sad that he's getting put in a negative light for doing what he felt what was right. He did what he felt was right, and he's being labeled as a coon and this, that, and the third. And I just don't get that. But the main question y'all hear me asking, just think if he did not call the police, and we had the same outcome. These same people who saying he stalked her, he a coon, and this, that, and the third. What would they say about him then? Would they turn around and say why he didn't call the police? Or would they still say he did the right thing by not calling the police? I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, a couple of people in her comments say it's going hard on the dude, But hey, it is. It is what it is. Y'all know how I stand on it. I think he did nothing wrong. I think he did the right thing. He wasn't just a concerned neighbor. And if he saw something out the ordinary, he did what he's supposed to. He did what he felt it's hard to do that he saw out the ordinary. Now, one thing she did say that puzzled me now, she said if she see a naked man outside holding a gun, she would still walk up to that dude. Now, that's a brave girl, brave sister. Now, she'll do that. She brave as hell if she do that. I don't know. I don't know if she was joking or was she being serious when she said that. But she said she could see a man naked outside with a gun. Uh, you know, she would still walk up to the dude. So I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, at the end of the day, hey, appreciate that you reached out to me. Sorry, she couldn't get all the answers that she probably wanted. Hey, I couldn't get out. I couldn't ask all the questions that I wanted to ask because it's still an ongoing investigation. So other than that, though, He know he got people that love him, and he know he got people that despise him for what he did. So but at the end of the day, I just want him to continue to fight and get justice for this girl. That's all that matters to me. So hey, people gonna say what they gonna say. You can't make everybody happy, and that's one thing me and him talked about at the end of the interview. You can't make everybody happy, but I want everybody to think about this though. What if you could make everybody happy? What if you could? What if we could make everybody happy? Anyway, appreciate the sister for reaching out to me. I think it was a good dialogue. I think it was a good interview and whatnot. So I appreciate her for reaching out to me. So other than that though, man, y'all take care of yourself and take care of each other. And I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.